Son, what does a gopher build? Can you say it? Well, who knows? A really rich doctor said you were a bummer.
And I think you don't know algebra.
No, we're talking science, bud. The science of what? Is that a tiger? One of your friends promised me I could flick you in your face.
Absolutely, you may not do that.
Hit him in his cringy smirk, for real.
Say any cereal name. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You're like people in the 12th century. Why'd he say it like that? You're a formulated
He's
pickle
worse than
popper.
that. He's a storm cloud.
I don't like you, dude. And there's a tiger. Oh, that's it. You two guys sent the tiger.
I
What?
did
No.
not me.
What
I mean,
tiger?
I mean,
that is reprehensible.
okay, yeah. Okay,
Brad?
I'm a horrible person.
Brad, I'll report you to Nadine. I just want your leg bones to be okay. I brought the tiger. Really, you got somebody on the organ now? Hey man, you're gonna pay for dinner. You're gonna pay. No! Get off me!
I know that's the intro that I used on Monday, but it's number one, it's the only one that I've made that has Trey in it, and even though he's not here today. And number two, it's ain't fitting since the house has been doing a bunch of stuff over the last couple days, and I figure we could talk about some of that stuff if y'all would like.
Cool.
Or not.
I
We can just not talk about it. It's cool too.
Because of phone and internet troubles, I didn't see the intro Monday or today. So
see, it's new. It's still new to you anyway. It'll still
I'm
be
still
new
trying to
to
figure
you.
out what the hell is going on. I just hear the audio, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
That's interesting because whenever I run the stream from my phone, I can see the video playing, but I can't hear the audio.
Is there an app for StreamYard, or should I'm just like, this isn't the time or place to discuss this. I'm just clicking the link,
Sure
but I don't
is.
know if I download an app if it helped.
I can't find an app for it. If there was, I feel like that would be helpful.
Yeah, because I know with some of the other ones, it's you can do it by just clicking the link, or you get the app on your phone. It kind of helps. Whatever. So, yeah. So what's up, man? Good morning, everyone.
So the YouTube Studio, and Odyssey apps are all pretty handy. I wish Rumble had an app. I use Rumble pretty frequently for my own show, and that would be nice. But yeah, StreamYard. If StreamYard had an app, I feel like it would. Maybe we should get on that one. Trey does some sort of things with computers. Surely he can develop the web app or the phone app for StreamYard, and then we can have StreamYard as an official sponsor, and we'll actually run their ads as unlike what we do for Run Your Mouth Coffee.
Well, I remember I would like use it instead of YouTube so badly, but it was like slow, But I've been using it a lot lately on like the app on the phone and everything. It works really well. So that's good.
Yeah, some of these I actually prefer the app over the actual website on some things. If Facebook, I prefer the Facebook app over the Facebook website. It feels a little less cluttered and a little more concise. I don't know. Some of these app developers have got it figured out.
Like
Clyde's
marketing
back.
and stuff. You have like more options on the PC. Okay, cool. Thank God. Clyde, save this conversation.
All I heard was StreamYard didn't have an app, and Matt Gates likes Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I think that's about where we are. I saw that video. That was a good video. I don't know. It was a good one.
Is it just me, or did y'all also feel like that's actually how Kevin McCarthy talks?
Yeah, I can see that.
I still don't know who this person is. It's all I've been hearing. Him and that football player is all I've been hearing about for the past week, and I don't really know anything about either of them.
I didn't know Matt Gates played football.
I'm pretty sure he's talking about DeMar Hamlin, but
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Did you see the Bills decided to not put him on the injured reserve list there? So instead of making like $400,000, he makes like $800,000 this year.
yeah, that was interesting. He's
What's
still
this one?
they're still putting him on injured reserve, but they're going to honor the full contract and pay him the 800,000 instead of the 400. I think it was like he makes like 835,000 if he's on the active roster for the entire season.
Right.
But if he goes on IR, he would only get like 488. Only 488.
Yeah, right.
And so they're going to honor his full season.
It seems like a hush money, you know. Like here, we'll honor your contract. You just be quiet and don't say anything, you know, obscene that will get us in trouble.
So
That was the first thing that came to my mind.
Like that, I don't know shit about this except that everybody's talking about it, and it doesn't seem like it should be that big of a deal.
And then that association with this money thing is just like, God damn it! It's just like there's some, you know.
I'm not sure what's going on.
It's
some propaganda thing that if you hear this much about anything, you're supposed to, you know.
Well, because initially they were talking about the Commotio cordis or whatever, which is where, like, you know, typically I think it happens like 30 times a year, and over 80% of those instances are kids 12 and under playing like baseball, which is why little league baseball players have like the chest protector that has the big pad like right over the center of their chest where their heart would be, because what would happen is especially for like pitchers in little league baseball, they get hit in the chest with a comebacker and it would make their heart stop, which, you know, small kids, fragile chests, it's not like they're built to take a hit anyway. And also, you know, a baseball uniform doesn't have padding, so they have
Why should it? It's baseball.
Right. So they have this like chest pad that's for kids playing baseball, so that if they do get hit, it's not going to cause the arrhythmia of the heart. But these dudes are like full-grown men playing with like full pads on, and like
top of the line pad. It's not just like top of the line. You can't, you know, the pads you use, you know, in your high school program, the pads you use in your D3 college program, these are not the same pads that like the NFL is using. I mean, let's be real. These are like, you know, top of the line, you know, designed to take like a freight train to the chest type pads.
Right, and like I had said when we were talking about it previously, like when I played, I wore the smallest pads available. Like I wore the smallest shoulder pads and chest protector that you could.
You're not a heavy flow kind of guy?
No, not at all. And well, I was a receiver and a safety. Like my job was to go up and get the ball, and I needed to have full range of motion of my arms. So I couldn't have these big, like monster, bulky shoulder pads that limited my ability to put my arms up in the air. So I
Plus, you can't go to the club in like a big pad like that. It looks bad.
Yeah, it's awkward. Everybody stares. So I wore small pads. I never at any point even got the wind knocked out of me, and I got hit pretty hard several times. Like you have good. Your chest is well covered and well protected, even if you're wearing small pads, which, I mean, the dude's a DB, so typically DBs wear smaller pads. But even so, it still provides more coverage and more protection than what the chest protector that they put on the Little League baseball players covers.
So on the news yesterday, they mentioned like it was like they're like, oh, cardiac arrest. Are they not? Is it not the corded thing now?
Well, so
one of the things that I saw. Go ahead. I'm gonna drop out here.
Okay. I'd say all of the evidence when looking at the hit indicated that the Commotio cordis or whatever would be highly unlikely, or like you could. There were a lot of like sports doctors who were commenting on it. They were like, "That's definitely not what this is. Like, that's not the way that would work." So, I think they kind of abandoned that narrative pretty quickly, especially after the Wikipedia page got modified 5 times within an hour and a half.
He got shocked back in. Like he got CPR. Did he get AD, the shocky thingies on the field, and it came back, and then they lost it again, and then he came back again. Like,
yeah.
And usually, I guess that doesn't happen with the heart thinger there.
Yeah. Yeah. None of the evidence around the way that all went down.
And when that happens, like, do you get like, is it an immediate thing, or is it one of those where like, because he got right back up, you know, it took him like 3 seconds to get up and then come back down, maybe 5 seconds, you know.
See, I don't know, because every example of it, every like video of it that I've ever seen was a kid playing baseball, and like they get hit in the chest and they just like crumple into a pile and go straight to the ground. Like,
right.
Again, they're kids, so you know how much of that is because he's a kid, or as opposed to being an adult, or is that just like the way it happens when it hits? It's like because it seems like that would be the logical progression of it, right? Like it's an instant hit and it stops. It's not something that like would take a second to kick in, right?
I mean, I don't know. I've
separate like a heart or something. Like
I've butchered enough birds that, like, you know, there's nerves and there's a lot of stuff like after you die for the first like little bit there, right? But like if you're on the ground, like it's gonna take a second, right? Just because your heart stops doesn't mean like your body still has oxygen. It's still like doing its thing. It just stops. It needs to keep going. So like, is there enough to get you back up? Do you have enough wherewithal to get back up, or is like, I think when your heart would stop, your brain and everything else would like go into freak out mode, you know. But he seemed to just kind of.
I think it depends on what happens. Because like when people have like a widowmaker heart attack, like they're dead before they hit the fucking ground. You know what I mean? Like they just fall. You know, but that's the one that's like directly from like your heart to like I think your fucking brain. So it's like I think if it just straight cuts off the blood to your fucking brain, I think you just go down. Typically. But if it's something where like it might take a little, you know, like you lose pressure, but your brain still has a little bit of blood, you know, maybe you can keep going for a few seconds. I don't know. I'm just that's what it feels like. Because the chickens, it's not always that quick.
Well, the thing about it was it looked so eerily similar to a lot of other videos we've seen of athletes who seemed like they were okay and then just kind of like fell to the ground clutching their chest. So that's what got all the attention, and that's why it's been talked about so much, because immediately a lot of people were starting to make that connection, because you know the NFL did have a vaccine policy, and aside from a handful of exceptions, pretty much everybody did it.
Well,
it's almost like all the coverage is just like an attempt to get out in front of people like us who are going to contribute to that. We just have to get out there and say heart attack enough times. Whatever.
Madden, whatever, 2023, they're taking out the CPR like touchdown celebrations now on the video game.
There was a lot of commentary about the Steelers game over the weekend. One of the Steelers players got a sack, and they did the CPR celebration. And like, oh, that's in bad taste. It's like nobody's even thinking about that. Shut up. It's not in bad taste.
Sports.
Well, and as far as the Bills paying out his full salary, I suspect that the league is covering that. Like,
I think it said that it was.
Yeah, so kind of like the WNBA paying Brittany Griner her full salary for spending however long in jail in Russia. Like, it's not on the team. Like that's not affecting the team at all.
That's not necessarily draining anyone's bank account either. So.
So very true. I think they had to give her like an extra bag of popcorn or something.
Give her some man pounds.
She got the upgraded parking spot at the stadium.
Oh fuck!
But yeah, the league is covering it, so it's it's no skin off their back to pay him his full salary because the league's taking care of it. So.
You post these StreamYard links like way too early, and then I have to go through like pages of Twitter garbage to find it. It's really kind of obnoxious.
Blame the Twitter garbage on Trey. Usually I post the links and then nobody else posts anything. But Trey has been bombarding us. He's
putting in work.
He's bringing life to this party.
So how did Monday's show go without Mark? Have you looked at numbers and stuff? I imagine it's like most of our audience is just going to disappear with Mark.
Steven was the only one I was worried about since he and Mark are actually friends, and he's still here. So I think we're doing all right.
We need Steven. He's the keystone that holds all our comment section together.
So I need to check in on Mark and. Oh, there we go.
I know he just like completely vanished from the chat and everything. He's just ghosting us. He's big timing us.
You can remove the second you at any
I'm
time.
gonna leave it.
No, we gotta get rid of that. You got an echo.
It's still there.
Mute your phone. Lord, so professional. I guess I can't say anything. I do the same thing.
Hey man, that's my gimmick. It's my shtick.
Being a boomer.
Yeah. It's not really a shtick. It's kind of real life, but
Yeah, we got to check in on Mark. He has kind of just completely disappeared. I thought they were going to give him a few weeks before he got packed off to jail, but maybe they just took him right away. That's probably why we haven't heard from him.
He's got to wait for someone to smuggle him in a cell phone.
All they need to do is give him a pen and paper. He can write us. He's got my address. We'll do monthly letters from Mark.
Prison
life treating you.
You guys mail.
all I caught was mail order bride there. So.
Mail order. I think he's still talking. I can't tell. Yeah, we'll definitely get Mark to send us letters from prison. Let us know if he's found a nice young gentleman to escort him around the prison yard and bring him extra donuts and stuff at the meal times. And
Glazed donuts?
Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough without him. You know. And Trey's not even here on his second day. Like, what? I just don't get it.
Yeah. The dedication is incredible around here.
It's lacking. It's not what I would hope.
So you get me every day, and that's it.
Hey, man, I'm here every day.
Every day that you're supposed to be here?
Every day. Hey, man, I'm here in spirit. You know?
Oh, that's what it is. You don't go back and watch the episodes, so you don't even know what we talk about every day.
No, dude, I don't have that time. I don't have that kind of time, man. Like, I can like barely keep my head above water. I don't have time to spend an hour on YouTube.
What you need to do is, while you're in the kitchen cooking on your gas stove, you just put the show on, and hopefully your phone does not give off enough of a spark that it blows up your house.
So I wanted a gas stove anyhow to replace my electric. Now I can probably get one for cheap.
Yeah.
If you can get one. Yeah. I had a gas stove in an apartment. I haven't read this because I know So New York is already doing this.
Imagine that.
I don't know if it's just New York City, but I think it's all of New York. It might just be New York City right now, and New York is putting it into effect. But it's like, if you houses built, from 2026 on are going to have to be, equipped with electric, no gas. And if you have pre-existing gas, like, there's, what are they called? Sunset dates on it or something, right? Where if like, you can use it, but you're not going to be able to get any fixes, and it needs to be phased out by such and such a time or something like that. Which is really weird because like I didn't really realize it until like I came down here. But like, when power goes out and you're using electric heat, like you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're up a creek. Like I've always had a wood stove, so the power goes out. Okay, I melt some snow on the wood stove. I can stay warm. Like it's dark, but okay, whatever. If you're using electric heat, like you are up the creek, man. Like put on some wool socks and a blanket. Like hope you don't freeze.
Break out that Oh no, wait! It took away our generators. Ah, fuck. Yeah, guess you're screwed.
It's
So from the article, the reason that they're considering this is that they claim that almost 13% of current childhood asthma in the U.S. is attributable to gas stove use. That 35% of households in the United States use gas stoves, and the number approaches 70% in some states like California and New Jersey. I wonder why California and New Jersey have such high gas stove usage. Probably because their electric bills are through the fucking roof, and you have to worry about rolling blackouts.
I wonder what other kind of environmental factors there are too, with all the, it's just, do you pick up the energy from like the crazy liberal, do you pick up the energy from the alt left, and then it affects your immune system somehow?
Well, fracking is like the number one thing that's destroying the planet. So if they're going to combat fracking, they have to start with stopping you from using gas stoves. Of course, what are they going to do about gas water heaters, gas furnaces? Like,
no, I mean, that's all coming, right? I mean, like,
say, are they just going to phase everything out? Like, there's
I
not a
think
whole
I'm
lot.
pretty sure that's what New York had on the table.
And of course, this is what's causing childhood asthma, not the fact that kids are fat, lazy, don't do anything, don't get outside, spend all day on their computers, spend all day locked in a school, sitting on their ass. Like their recesses when my kids were in elementary school, they got like a 30-minute recess after lunch. Like that's insane. We got like 30 to 45 minutes in the morning, and then another like hour and a half in the afternoons. Like you had plenty of time to get out, and you had gym, so you had lots of time to run and play and do stuff. Like these kids are just forced to sit all day long, and then the fact that they're constantly being just mouth open and shoveled in over processed, completely horrible shit that's terrible for them. Never mind any of that. Gas stoves. That's what
I sent you a link in the private chat. It's a little older. What was it? Come on. Where'd the date go? It's December 23rd. So I mean, it's like this was last month. But yeah, it's fossil fuel burning furnaces.
Well, all of this is older.
It's not just.
They tried to do this several years ago, and it completely fell on its face. Like nobody was having it. So they just kind of, as they usually do, they just kind of tabled it and stopped talking about it. But it's been enough time that most people have, everybody except for the conspiracy theorists have forgotten about it. So now it's time to come back around and do it all over again.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised that the asthma thing is part of it, that they didn't just leave it with the climate change model that they've been using.
Well, the climate change model has been kind of losing
Has it lost
steam.
steam in the mainstream?
Yeah,
it has. Okay.
Actually, my episode of my show for today, I go into the climate change stuff. Yeah, it has lost steam. People are kind of, because a lot of the science is completely bogus, nonsensical science. It's not actually evidence based. And when you start asking questions, then the whole thing starts to unravel, and that's when you're a bigot, or you hate the planet or something, or you're a shill for big oil or what have you.
But it's yeah, it's like the Mayan calendar, right? We've had so many dates come and go that just didn't, the world didn't end. There wasn't massive flooding. Ocean levels didn't rise 10 feet. Barack Obama just bought a house on the beach. Like, it's we're starting to see that this isn't adding up.
Well, and the whole
I
thing
do
around.
that.
Have fun. Don't work too
Okay.
hard.
Oh,
Well, and the crazy thing about as Jay Forte says, they use the kids to pull at heartstrings. Like, if you can act
They
like
just use football players.
if you can act like this is having some sort of a negative impact on kids, then you have because they didn't use the kid angle when they tried to do this before several years ago. So if you can bring kids into it, then you're more likely to get sympathy for it. Except for, like, a lot of the climate change stuff, this study is also not based on science.
Yeah, you sent that tweet, right, or a link or something. I saw
Yeah.
it when I was
The
trying.
new
to look
study
at it.
does not actually link gas stoves with asthma in children. This is it's not actual research on children. It's a meta-analysis of previously published and ignored studies, a study of otherwise unpersuasive studies. So their study on gas stoves causing asthma in children is not actually a study. It's just a people combing through other studies that have been largely dismissed as bullshit. which is really how a lot of the climate change studies work. It's all model driven, and there's no actual science or factual reality to any of it. It's projection and wild guesses that they then put in a format that makes it look professional.
The AOC. I'll share this with you. And put it in the thing.
Here's a really important line out of this whole thing. Asthma is an allergic disease. There are no allergens in natural gas. So
I didn't realize that asthma was allergic reaction. I guess I did. I don't know. I didn't think about it like that.
So the study has no biological plausibility. No.
AOC tweeted, did you know that ongoing exposure to NO2, what is NO2? Is that nitrous oxide?
Yes.
From gas stoves is linked to reduced cognitive performance.
Is that what happened to her? She spent too much time around the.
That's what I said. That's how we got 81 million votes, huh? But then she linked to a Vox article. Gas stoves can generate unsafe levels of indoor air pollution. So they're coming at it from multiple different angles, I guess.
I literally blew our stove up, and nobody in the house has asthma. I mean, nothing. The worst that came of it was I burned some hair off my arm.
That's the worst. The smell. That smell is just.
Yeah, that was a fun day. Yeah. If it hadn't been for the fact that I electrocuted myself 4 times the day before, it probably wouldn't have been as bad. But I had a rough couple days there.
What are you doing, man?
That's when I was remodeling the house over there. And it's also blowing up the stove is the last thing I did working on the house-wise. I've still got trim I've got to put in, and I got to reframe a door and cut hinges in a door, and I've just left the current door that's hanging there hanging. I almost blew myself up after I almost electrocuted myself, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna
take a break from this.
Yeah, we'll pick it back up in the spring. See if it's any better.
I don't blame you. Here, Q, you got something? Cue something up for 30 seconds. I got to run real quick.
Oh, well, yeah,
I'll be
I've
right
always
back.
got something that I can queue up. Let's see. Since it's always a favorite topic of this show, gender ideology is losing in the courts. I enjoy the Washington Examiner. Gender ideologues may have been able to force their way into our medical institutions, educational establishments, and even the White House, but they're not having much luck in the courts. 2 recent cases prove that the legal system is hesitant to flip our understanding of biology upside down. In Florida, did we talk about this on the show? Now that you're back, did we talk about the Florida Circuit Court of Appeals that ruled in late December that sex does not include gender ideology? And then there was another one that denied some high school student the being allowed to use. It was a trans boy or a trans male, so it was a girl who had been using the boys' bathroom, and the Supreme Court in Florida said, no, you can't do that. The state has the right to uphold that you have to use the bathroom that coincides with your
Assigned at birth gender.
Yes, assigned at birth gender. That's the word I was looking for.
Interesting. I didn't I didn't know that. When was that?
It's been within the last month.
Okay. Has it gotten outrage?
Of course.
Screaming and yelling and crying.
Yeah, gnashing of teeth and tearing of clothes, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the go-to for the feminazis anyway. Is I don't guess they tear their clothes. They just take them off and then stand there and flop their titties around and scream or whatever.
This is the new style, though, man. You gotta tear your clothes a little bit. What are jeans if they're not bought with holes in them? I never understood that, like, fashion trend. Like, do some work, get some real holes in your jeans, and then maybe you do all right. But.
That's right. Where do you get holes in your jeans? Like, I've never had a problem with developing holes in the knees. I always get the holes in around the back pockets and then the crotch. That's what always goes.
That's what goes. It's the seam of the pocket where the pocket meets the jean, like right there, and then the crotch of them always kind of wears out.
I always just figured it was because I'm packing so much heat down there that that's what was just busting at the seams. But
yeah,
you're having that problem too. It's probably just a faulty product and the way jeans are made these days.
I got to get like a ball bra, something to hold everything up because it just.
Ooh, my mom got me some underwear for Christmas, and it's some of those like the sheath type that have the the separate holders for your wig and giggleberries. I need to try them out and see how I like it. Do we have any sheath underwear supporters on our listener base? I'm sure a bunch of y'all.
I've only heard good things.
Watch Part of the Problem, so you've probably tried them out.
I don't know. It's not. I mean, I don't know. If my mother's buying me underwear when I'm 40, I need to reevaluate my life. I'm just gonna say that.
She got a pair for me and my brother and my dad. She does this. She finds something.
Are they matching?
I think we got different colors, but she'll find something that she thinks is cool, and then or funny, and then she'll just buy it for all of us. So
that's good. At least it's not like the little hand-generated emergency radio flashlight thing that goes on your fridge. She hasn't reached that stage yet.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Oh man.
Do we want to talk about what's going on with the House?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what is going on with the House.
Well, they're voting on a bunch of stuff.
McCarthy lost a bunch of power, right? He's going to be a speaker in name only, supposedly.
That's what they say. That's what the Democrats say anyway.
Swalwell and Ilhan are lost their committees. I saw that.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Eye Patch McCain.
Yeah.
Dan Crenshaw. Yeah, he's not getting on his committee that he was wanting. They are go.
Why do they care if they're on a committee? Is that like to further their career down the road? Is it for better kickbacks? Is it because they get paid the same amount, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's bonuses involved if you're on committees. I don't know. I think a lot of it is just the influence that the people who are on the committees are able to have over specific aspects of things, and wanting to not let people who are proven war hawks be in charge of the Department of Justice or stuff like that.
No, and I get that. I just was curious if it was like, the kickback thing. Like I think
mostly it's just
with Lockheed Martin. If I'm on the.
I think mostly it's just like Getz and Boebert and all of them trying to kick the establishment Republicans in the teeth for not having balls.
Which is, I mean, it's really funny to see all like the whining and crying from both sides that are like, oh my God, these holdouts forced us to give up so much. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Like, this is a good thing. Like that this is how government's supposed to work. You guys are supposed to talk about these things. It's not just like, everybody says, okay, and let's just do it. Or, you know what I mean? It's like, well, it's a two-party system. It still is a two-party. It's always going to be a two-party system. But like this makes it seem like there's a little bit more room, right? It's almost not, they're not a third party, but it's okay. If we get another voice in here, this is what it's going to look like. And that's a good thing. Like, it's much more representative. Like, I don't know. Maybe not.
Well,
maybe
and they didn't force them to give up all of these things. They could have picked somebody else for speaker. They didn't have to. They didn't have to keep voting for Kevin McCarthy 14 times and losing. Like they could have. At any point, they could have been like, "Okay, we get it. You don't want him. What about this person?"
Why did they do that?
McCarthy is a full-on rhino. He's a California Republican. Dude's a Democrat who has an R next to his name, and he's been part of a number of these committees. And most of his track record is pretty like squishy moderate type of he's not a strong what the holdouts were wanting was like a strong America first type of a speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not McCarthy. He's
I mean, you're never going to get that anyway. Like not from politicians anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, as SDG said, they're pretending that they're going to abolish the IRS. So they were voting on defunding, or what is it? Abolishing the IRS and doing away with income tax.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the increases in sales tax were going to be pretty outrageous, though. So I don't know how I feel about that. If it, because it was like a.
20, I think I feel like a sales tax.
It set it at like a 23% minimum sales tax. Like that's
so. I mean, they still collect it.
Right. They still getting their money.
I don't know. See, I don't know because it I feel like that would encourage you not to, buy frivolously, right? You're going to, because now, like, you feel it. When I go through Amazon and I'm, buy a $100 thing and now it's $110 because of sales tax, as it is now, like you notice that more, oh man. At the end of the year, when I'm paying taxes and stuff, like you feel it, but you don't. And the people that don't pay taxes or pay like are in like bottom tiers, like they don't feel it the same either. You start slapping them with 23 cents for every dollar they spend, like they're going to feel that. They're going to react to that. They're going to say like, hey, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't send millions of dollars to Ukraine. Maybe we shouldn't like do all this other stuff because I think when it's front and center, when you see it every day, multiple times, like you'll see it. You know what I mean?
Steven, nobody on this show buys eggs. We all raise our own. Plant our little egg, put our little egg plants out, and harvest the eggs every.
I pay that's one of the things like when I go shopping, like I'll check them just because I see everybody complaining about them. The other day I was like, damn man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Now even for your farmyard birds, like the cost of feed has gone up, but I don't think it's gone up nearly as much as the chicken eggs in the store have.
No, I used to be able to get a bag of feed for $11, and now it's $13.
Really?
Yeah, that's it.
Ours went from like probably 8 or 9 to about 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep. It's gone up, man. It's gone up. I remember we were buying goat feed for a time, and that went from, it was at Tractor Supply. I think it went from like 17 or 18 bucks to like 28. And then I stopped looking, and I found like a feed store, and it stays about 22 bucks. But
see, that's the goat feed here has stayed about the same. I think when we first got the goats, it was around 15 bucks, and now it's like 16. It's not, it hasn't gone up significantly. The alfalfa hay, which is what these dumbasses like the most, they won't eat any other hay other than the alfalfa. It's gone up.
Goats.
Yeah, it's gone up a lot. It used to be like 16 bucks, and now it's like 22 bucks. So that's gone
You
up.
buy like a bale?
Yeah, it's a 40 pound bale. Forget
that, man.
Yeah,
we get them round bales. Last year they were $45. This year they were $90, which is kind of weird because the price of fertilizer and everything didn't quite go up this year. So next year is going to be when we see how much it really costs. Like, it's going to be hitting hard. Maybe time to put a horse in the freezer.
I say we found somebody here that has just a bunch of pasture, and they cut and bale hay, and the goats actually did like that. So once stuff starts growing again, I think I'm gonna hit them up and see about getting in on a steady supply. And also, if not complaining about my wife, but if she would actually do it and bag up the grass clippings every week, they love the shit out of that stuff.
Do they really?
Oh man, they tear it up. I can almost feed them exclusively grass clippings. They kill it. So I don't. But I can't convince anybody else in the family to help me with that. So.
Hey, what are you gonna do?
See, I would like to make goat curry, but she sold the one that I was going to eat. I told her, you either sell him or we're going to eat him, and I'll be damned if she didn't sell him, because
she sold him to somebody that's going to eat him.
No, they've got like 4 of them. They're having like pets. They're treating them like pets.
Gotcha.
Which I guess that's cute, whatever. But
yeah.
See, I can't get mine to eat the leaves. They don't care for them.
Ours will. So we have mixed pasture, and so ours will eat the leaves sometimes. Fresh fallen leaves they'll eat. Not after they get all brown and crispy. But that's one of my things that I've been working on is trying to make more pasture, trying to do more like the silva pasture, kind of wooded pasture. Because the grass, just having grass down here is insane. It just gets, you're out. It's too hot. You got to have some shade and break up the landscape some.
Yeah, we've got a big tree on the edge of and then we've got a barn. But on the edge of the pen, we got a big tree, so there's plenty of shade in that corner through most of the day. It's no, Steven, we can't do chicken curry either. The chickens are what provide me eggs, so that I don't have to pay $15 for a dozen.
How do you replace your birds?
Rural King sells chicks year round. So
you just get chicks. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you had because we haven't bought like layer birds in a few years now. Because they just they always some of them are always hatching out. I always get like 6 or 7 a year, at least. And then unfortunately, come roosters. And
I had to get rid of the rooster. He was getting a little aggressive. I'm pretty sure I told that story.
That's your fault though.
The murder of the rooster.
Yeah, that's your bad. Like you need to keep him in place.
Oh, sorry.
You're not alpha enough, Justin.
Well, I,
You just a beta male over there with your glasses and your.
I feel like I went pretty alpha on him when he was getting aggressive, and I whacked his head off with a hoe.
You killed a rooster with a hoe. That's kind of funny. Kill him the
Well-
cock with a hoe. Cut the head right off.
Well, I didn't have my my cleaver on me.
Mm.
I was just out in the yard, and so
You
I
don't
grabbed.
walk around with a machete? I feel like
No.
you have like a 8-inch Bowie knife on you at all times. You know.
No, this
Okay.
is just the regular in my pocket knife. I don't carry an actual machete with me all the time. If I have a reason,
You're not a London Arab enough. London Muslim. What's the word? I don't know. London gangbanger. British gangbanger.
Speaking of, not speaking of British gangbangers, but since that's kind of a good tie-in to gun control activists are better organized than the pro-gun lobbies, but they're still losing. Gun control movements like to portray the gun control movement likes to portray itself as successful, even when it's constantly losing the gun control debate. Didn't
See, I think I would disagree with.
Didn't Trump's bump stock ban get overturned within the
did.
last couple weeks?
last little bit here. I really I disagree with both statements in that title. I think I don't know that they're better organized. I mean, because I feel like gun control is like, that's like a DNC type thing. I mean, you look at, the likes of their mouthpieces and what they have out there. Like, I don't know, is it less organized from a grassroots kind of thing? And, the gun lobby is with, all the different ones they have, all the different support groups.
I don't know that they're better organized so much as they're more well publicized.
Okay.
They get talked about all the time. So you would think, as much as they're talked about, that they're really super organized and really accomplishing a whole lot. But it's the same thing. The left and mainstream media does the same thing with the NRA in terms of how much influence the NRA has over politics. Like the NRA, in terms of like the money spent by lobbies, they're not real high on the list. Like pharmaceutical lobby, the energy sector lobbies, the military lobby, like there are the green initiative lobbies. Like there are a lot of big money players in Washington that are way bigger and have way more influence in it than the NRA. Like the NRA is really kind of I don't know, like middle of the pack as far as that goes. But if you just paid attention to mainstream media, you would think that like the gun lobby is literally the biggest lobby in Washington and that they're just dictating all of everything.
I honestly, I feel like that is a blessing, right? Like that's kind of, let them look at the NRA, let them go after, let them, fight with the NRA. Because let's be real, the NRA sucks, like they're not really pro-gun. They're, they're very moderate, if you will, so let them go after that one and let the other ones that are actually pro Second Amendment rights, down to the T, like let them come in and do their grassroots thing and get the influence on the underside that they don't see, that they don't come after. I don't know.
Well, that's like all of the states that have gone to
constitutional
carry. The NRA didn't have anything to do with that.
Nope. They never would. The NRA would never get down with that. Are you kidding?
Right. If the NRA were as influential as the gun lobby or as the gun control lobby pretends that they are, they'd have been pushing for constitutional carry for decades, and they never have. Like that's not. Right. They don't actually care about any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and it's. I don't know. I don't know if it's the. I don't know. with all like the mass shootings, or with like, when there's people talk about, publicizing gun violence, and there was a shooting at the mall up in Atlanta the other day, and it's, oh my God, like, we just passed constitutional carry, and 2 people got shot in the mall. And I think like with the allowance of more voices, with social media, with people being able to discuss these things, like I feel like we're starting to see more of, okay, yes, 2 people got shot. Who were they? What were they doing? Right? Like they were in a mall fighting, right? Like who does that? You know what I mean? Like when you look at the gun violence, and you look at these
It's like
statistics, and the statistics that are being published, like you see that it's a particular demographic that
it's like
does it.
13% of the population that does that.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's just like, man, this is.
Well, and I think another thing that hurts the gun control activists is they really try to jump on anytime there's a shooting or something like that, and then it turns out that the person who had the gun was a felon. So,
or it's illegally gotten. Right, all these
like,
things. Like it's like, oh, how did you acquire that firearm? It's never. Very rarely is it the guy that like went through all the background checks, waited his time, did this and that. It's people with like a past history of violence.
Or they've been on an FBI, or they've been on an FBI watch list for the past 2 years and have actually been brought in and questioned by the FBI within the last 10 months. And like, and they all seem to, even though they work minimum wage jobs, they're able to afford a multiple like
$5,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah, multiple $1,000 guns and hundreds upon hundreds of rounds of ammo and all this other stuff. And it's like, wait. How does that work?
I got to get myself on, have one of those meetings.
Actually, I'm thinking about getting a new gun. I'm trying to decide if I want to get a new handgun or a new rifle, and I haven't decided yet, because I've already got 2 handguns, so I've already maxed out the number of hands that I have anyways. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
So my Indiana,
what kind of rifle?
Indiana, if you have outstanding child support or back support due, then you get put on a flag list. And so like if you go to purchase a weapon, then you have to do the whole waiting period and all of that stuff, and that's fucking annoying. So now that I'm completely caught up on everything, I feel like it's time to go buy a new gun.
I thought you moved out of Indiana.
No. We moved somewhere else in Indiana.
Yeah.
Deeper into the sticks of Indiana.
Okay.
Where would I go?
I don't know anything. I don't know. Kentucky, Tennessee. I don't know. I don't know anything about Indiana. It's one of those flyover states, One of those nobody knows anything about it.
I work in Kentucky, and
maybe that's what it was.
My parents live on the Kentucky-Tennessee state line, like literally walking distance.
That's cool. When we lived in Vermont, it was like that. It was fun. Used to go for runs and run across the border back and forth. Be like, woohoo.
If you carry a gun, then you can have the gun control advocates get crazy at you like Kyle Rittenhouse for crossing state lines.
Well, it was Vermont, I think, is like a constitutional carry, and I don't know what New Hampshire was at the time, but I don't think it was too much.
Not very strict.
Yeah.
Say, I cross state lines with multiple weapons every day.
Hey man, what are you gonna do? Just don't go into any taquerias, and you won't have to fight your way out, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, go to a Waffle House and throw chairs.
That works. Why is this like? Is it the clientele of Waffle House at like 3 a.m., just a bunch of drunk people? Or is it that people go to Waffle House like with the predisposed notion that they're going to get into some scuffling, some there's a better word, I can't remember it. Kerfluffle.
Because you see, there was a thing. I'm trying to look it up. There was a thing. It was like a story. There it is.
Like all the interviews with the Waffle House chick.
All right. Hang on. Sorry, I'm trying to get it pulled up because it's too fucking hilarious. Like I can't. Hang on, because I have to read it. Like I can't just. Okay.
Sure.
Sorry. I know.
I'm in,
Super professional. I didn't know we were going to go this direction with the show today. Okay, here we go. Story time. I know this sounds really weird, but here it is. My boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years. We met and started dating when we were both in graduate school, but I dropped out to go back to college, pursue a different career, blah, 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 blah. My boyfriend is an incredibly nice and caring person. He's emotionally tuned into everyone and recognizes arising issues for a long time before they occur, loves animals, blah, blah, blah. And usually winds up diffusing a situation and having a productive discussion about whatever the issue is, except at Waffle House. Anytime we're out, he wants to go to the same goddamn Waffle House to get breakfast food. I'm not a big eater, so I used to not really care. I would just drink coffee and read my book while he enjoys his food. But that became impossible once he and this one cook started chirping at each other every time we went there. Boyfriend complained about his eggs one time because he likes them a little runny and they were served hard. The cook responded by giving him scrambled eggs. When he brought it up again, the cook served him 2 hard-boiled eggs. I think it was just part of the cook's shtick, and it was kind of funny, to be honest, but my boyfriend wasn't able to laugh it off. When we left, he was kind of in a bad mood, but we didn't really talk about it. The next week, we were out getting some shopping done, and he wanted to go to Waffle House again. I suggested we try a different place, or at least a different Waffle House, but he only wanted to go to the same Waffle House. We went in and sat down, and once again, the same cook served his eggs wrong. My boyfriend sort of snapped at him, and he wasn't interested in messing around and just wanted the correct eggs. The cook then served him a piece of toast with a hole cut out in the middle with a fried egg in it. My boyfriend got really mad and threw the egg and toast at the cook, which made the cook come around from behind the bar and throw it back at him. They ended up sort of wrestling and fighting until my boyfriend was like, "This is bullshit," and walked out. Nobody got hurt, but a few other people in there were watching and laughing a bit. Here's the crazy part. My boyfriend keeps going back and ordering eggs and getting into fist fights with the same cook. It's almost a ritual at this point. My boyfriend orders runny eggs, and the cook serves him some other version of eggs, and then they beat the shit out of each other. I quit going with him after the second time, but he kept going by himself. They're like Peter and the giant chicken from Family Guy. It's the weirdest thing. They physically fought like 6 or 7 times.
Like, what? Is this just like it's got to be a thing, right? Like it's like a Fight Club type thing, you know? Like it's where you go, you get your food, you get your licks, and call it a day. I mean, for real, like there's too many fights on that occur in Waffle House for it to be like a.
Here it is, the best line of it all. I've tried to talk to him a few times about it, but he keeps saying it's a matter of principle. I've told him talk to the manager or something like that, but he just waves me off. Apparently, that cook hasn't made him the correct runny eggs yet, but he likes to spend the week learning new ways of preparing eggs to piss my boyfriend off.
I don't know if I've ever really been to a Waffle House. I can't tell. I don't. So you get Waffle House and Huddle House confused. You guys have Huddle House?
We have both.
Okay. See, I can't remember which one is which, and I know I've been to one once, but
I am just on that right part of the country where we have both. Personally, I prefer Waffle House over Huddle House, but if you need somewhere to go I would rather go to Waffle House to actually have breakfast. Whereas if I got somewhere that I need to go because it's 3 a.m. and we've been drinking all night, that's Huddle House.
See, I like Denny's or IHOP. IHOPs are the best, man. I haven't seen IHOP in a long time. Sadly. Are they still around?
Yeah, they just built a new building in Evansville.
Mm.
They changed the IHOB for a while. It was the International House of Burgers, but that was some sort of a shtick. And
I remember that actually.
Yeah, it played out pretty quick. I think it was just they were trying to do something to promote something, but it ended up just being completely retarded.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.